So football, some tennis, and something else thrown in as well in the next half hour. First up, our headlines. BCCI's Chief Selector MSK Prasad says Rishabh, Pant, Vijay, Shankar and Ajinkya Rahane are in contention for the World Cup berth. Shankar's decent outing with a bat in New Zealand has kept him in contention for all-rounders slot. Rajneesh Gunneswaran rises to career best 97 in ATP rankings, becomes only third Indian player to break into the top 100 barrier in the past decade after Somdev Devarman and Yuki Bhambre. In English Premier League, Manchester City hit 6 goals against Chelsea. Spurs keep pace with leaders Liverpool in the Premier League title race. And top women's skier Lindsay Vonn ends career with bronze medal at the Alpine World Championships. Olympic champion skier claimed 82 World Cup victories. Well, first up, BCCI's Chief Selector MSK Prasad has said that Rishabh Pant, Vijay Shankar and Ajinkya Rahane are all in contention for a World Cup berth. Prasad also said that Vijay has brought in a new dimension to the World Cup selection with his impressive performances in New Zealand series this month. Pant might have only played 3 ODIs, all against West Indies in 2018, but his good form in Test cricket and for India A in the last year has received a positive appraisal from the selectors. While Rahane has been consistent in List A cricket this season, 597 runs in 11 innings at an average of 74.62 with 2 big hundreds and 3 50s. 2 of those 50s came recently for India A in the unofficial ODI series against England Lions last month. So let's go across to Tapas Bhattacharya, my colleague, for more on this. Tapas, the only players that seem to be short of this spot right now are, of course, the 2 openers. There's MS Dhoni, I think, who's a certainty now, and of course, Virat himself.
So I just had a word, MSK Prasad. Mr. Prasad said that in many ways the team has already been chosen. So in all likelihood, there's actually let's just say 3 to 4 places which are up for grabs. Especially, let's say Rishabh Pant, Vijay Shankar performance will decide in this tournament against Australia whether or not he will get a place for the World Cup squad. So is with Rishabh Pant. Remember, we already have Dinesh Karthik in the playing 11.
Right.
He plays in the lower order. So and he can always chip in as the your reserve wicket keeper. So it is important for Indian team to, if they are taking Rishabh Pant in the squad, they should always keep it in mind that he is the reserve wicket keeper rather than giving Dinesh Karthik that part. Now, looking back at Vijay Shankar and the performance of Ajinkya Rahane and KL Rahul, it is imperative that your top 4 are in a very good shape, especially going to World Cup. And
yes,
that is where that's one of the reasons why the Indian selectors want to give a chance to Vijay Shankar as well as to KL Rahul and Ajinkya Rahane. In the series against Australia, Austria will be coming to India and they will have ODI series against India. So they would like the idea MSK Prasad is giving is that they would like to give finishing touches to their playing 11. They kind of made up their mind. They want to try Vijay Shankar as the second all-rounder in the team.
Okay.
They already in the 20
the first being
forwards
Hardik Pandya.
Yeah, so basically the idea is that if Vijay Shankar chip in as a batting all-rounder at the top of the
But even Kedar Jadhav becomes an option then, doesn't he?
That is true. So in the the 20 probable, if they have already zeroed in the 20 probable. So from the 20 probable, they will actually get the 15-man squad for the World Cup. And exactly for that, they want to prune who they will take and who will they not take. In conditions like England, they would like to have a bowling all-rounder, basically a pace bowling all-rounder rather than a spin bowling all-rounder.
Okay.
We have seen that Vijay Shankar can chip in with 5 to 6 overs and is a decent batter. In the last ODI, we have seen that he has done exceedingly well. So, if he comes at the top of the, pecking order and the lower down the round, Hardik Pandya is always a threat to tread with a bat, and he's definitely is more than handy in bowling. So you got basically two pace bowling all-rounders, and in English conditions, that will be more than handful. Obviously, you will have your two openers. Right now, we can always say that Ajinkya Rahane and KL Rahul was out of form. So that's something that worked against him. But in the last match, he did really well in the domestic circuit. So he will be getting that confidence back from that innings. Also, Ajinkya Rahane is back in the reckoning, especially because KL Rahul was out. So, if you take a look at the top four, you will find that apart from the let's just say the Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, Shikhar Dhawan, there's still a lot of places that needs to be filled, and that's
Ambati Raidu is also an option there.
Ambati Raidu is also an option for let's just say 5th, 6th position. So if you have somebody like Vijay Shankar who can come up at the 4th position, it gives a lot of flexibility to that. To your playing 11, and that is exactly what Indian team would like to take in England.
And what about MS Dhoni? He'll continue to play down the order?
Yes, absolutely. 5th to 6th position is actually absolutely perfect for MS Dhoni. Remember, his experience is absolutely imperative for India to do well in the 50-over cricket in England.
But why not give him that fixed number 4 slot? Because then that fixes your number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4.
That exactly is
Dhawan and Rohit, and then Virat, and then Dhoni.
Yeah, well, that's exactly is probably MSK Prasad is, they're trying to work out all the permutation and combination before that big ticket event. So the next 4-5 ODIs will actually tell us exactly what is the idea behind, getting all these players a chance in the playing 11. Remember, they would like to have for every spot in the playing 11 at least 2 players ready, so that if somebody gets injured, or for that matter, has an off day, the other person can chip in, and that is how you create a team. And
what about very quickly? What about the spearheading bowling attack? Because there is a bit of a problem of plenty in terms of the pace attack as well, and also spinners.
Absolutely, that's something that and that's what you call the happy headache for MSK Prasad and his band of boys who will be going to set the choose this team. But fact of the matter remains, if I can hear you, hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Cut again.
Well, it seems that we've lost that line with Tapas at just about the time when I was trying to get a final answer from him, but nevertheless, there is something that needs to be sorted out in the pace department as well, because Mohammad Shami did very well in New Zealand, and even in the spin contingent, there are options that are available that could be explored beyond Kuldeep as well as Chahal, because there's Jadeja, and although Ashwin is strictly now confined to tests, but you never know. Well, as far as the games in New Zealand are concerned, especially the T20 series that we lost 2-1, well, New Zealand captain Kane Williamson doesn't want to really read too much into that 2-1 result that came in, especially in the context of the upcoming World Cup. He felt that the result was an isolated one. Highlighting the importance of the series win, Williamson said, "It is not easy to get the better of India, who boast of a strong batting lineup."
You need to take wickets against this Indian side because we know how much power that they have and how deep their batting lineup is, and and also batting at night here at Seddon Park, there's that little bit of dew factor that perhaps negates a bit of spin as well. So there were a few factors, but it was very nice to get a total like that on the board, 210 some fantastic contributions, and I thought the guys did hold their nerve in the second half, where it was difficult. They weren't going to die wondering, that's for sure, and they came out and played some fantastic cameos, but we were able to get those wickets at key moments, and like I say, it was great to come out on top of the series one.
We would definitely love to win this game, but I think a lot of positives from everyone. I think we played really well right through the 20 overs that we batted, and everyone were very positive, and we were trying to get closer to the total, and it was just one net away, and could have been different on another day, but I think overall it was a great performance from the team. I think we played really well.
Let's tell you what's happened as a result of those 3 T20s that we had in New Zealand, where in the latest ICC rankings for T20s, Indian spinner Kuldeep Yadav has moved up a notch to grab a career-best second position. India maintained its second position behind Pakistan despite dropping 2 ranking points. Kuldeep scalped 2 for 26 in the final T20 international against New Zealand, which his side lost by 4 runs to go 2-1 down in the series. Fellow left-arm spinner Krunal Pandya is another Indian player to move up as he advanced 39 places to a career-best 58th. There is no other Indian bowler in the top 10. In the batsmen's list, Indian vice-captain Rohit Sharma swapped 3 places to be at 7th with the compatriot KL Rahul at 10th. Rahul didn't feature in the recently concluded series. Now let's talk about our other big story from tennis. Reaping the rewards of his consistent performance, India's Prajnesh Guneswaran on Monday broke into the men's singles top 100 for the first time in his career with a jump of 6 places that took him to 97. Prajnesh is only the 3rd Indian player to break into the top 100 barrier in the past decade after Somdev Devvarman and Yuki Bhamri. The gritty left-hander, who had a brilliant 2018 season, reached the semi-finals of the ATP Chennai Challenger last week to ensure his entry into the coveted bracket. If Prajnesh can maintain his rank inside top 100, it will secure him entry into Grand Slam singles main draws. In recent times, only Yuki managed to make the top 100 grade. The immensely talented Yuki has been unfortunate with injuries that have halted his progress. Every time he has entered the top 100, it has been followed by a long injury break. Now, Ashley Barty won a pair of matches, first in singles play and then in doubles play, to help Australia knock off the United States and move into the Fed Cup World Group semi-finals for the first time since 2014. Barty helped her country secure a 3-2 win over Team USA on Sunday. She rolled past Madison Keys 6-4, 6-1 and partnered with Priscilla Horn to win their decisive doubles match 6-4, 7-5 over Danielle Collins and Nicole Melichar. Collins had forced the winner-take-all match after she evened the team score at 2 with a 6-1, 3-6, 6-2 win over Daria Gavrilova. And Romania reached their first Fed Cup World Group semi-final with a thrilling 3-2 win over defending champions and hosts the Czech Republic in Ostrava. With the tie level at 1-1 after day 1, Simona Halep got the better of fellow former world number 1 Karolina Pliskova to put Romania 2-1 up.
Romania reached the Fed Cup semi-finals for the first time on Sunday with a 3-2 win over defending champions Czech Republic as Irina Camelia Begu and Monica Niculescu stunned Wimbledon and French Open winners Barbora Krejcikova and Katerina Siniakova in a marathon doubles decider. Begu and Niculescu triumphed 6-7, 6-4, 6-4 in a thrilling rubber in Ostrava, which lasted just 7 minutes short of 3 hours. Krejcikova and Siniakova, the world's leading pair, trailed a break early in the final set before hitting back to 4-all. But the Romanian pair broke straight back for 5-4 before Begu, ranked at 35 in doubles, served out the tie. The result ended the 10-time champions Czechs' hopes of making the Fed Cup semi-finals for an 11th successive year and represented their first home defeat in a decade. Earlier, Simona Halep won the battle of the former world number 1s with an epic 6-4, 5-7, 6-4 triumph over Karolina Pliskova, the Czechs' highest-ranked player in the absence of world number 3 Petra Kvitkova. Sports Desk, DD News.
And we're moving on to football now. Hosts India would look to seal a place in the final of the Gold Cup Women's International Football Tournament when they face Nepal in their second round-robin match in Bhubaneswar today. India began their campaign with a 1-0 win over Iran on Saturday with Anju Thamang finding the net in the 48th minute, and a win on Monday would take them to the final of the 4-team tournament. The win against Iran was India's fifth on the trot after back-to-back victories against both Indonesia and Hong Kong in matches prior to this tournament. Nepal were drubbed by Myanmar 3-0 in their first game of the tournament and need to pick themselves up against a tough unit in India, but it's clear that the hosts continue to remain the favourites. And overseas, Manchester City moved back to the top of the Premier League after thrashing Chelsea 6-0 at the Etihad Stadium on Sunday. And their job was done after a sensational opening burst brought 4 goals in the first 25 minutes as Chelsea were left bedraggled, humiliated and at the receiving end of their worst defeat since they lost 7-0 at Nottingham Forest in April 1991. The rout started after 4 minutes when Chelsea were caught napping by Kevin De Bruyne's quick free kick, which left Raheem Sterling to fire in at the far post. Collecting the ball around 25 yards out, Aguero unleashed a superb effort that sailed to the top corner to put City well in control. Aguero then profited from Ross Barkley's glaring error to slip the ball home to make it 3. Now with Chelsea reeling, City piled on the misery on Sarri's men on the 25th minute when Gundogan sent a drive and Chelsea goalkeeper Kepa had no answer. And Tottenham ensured they remain in contention in the Premier League title race as Mauricio Pochettino's side earned a victory against Leicester at Wembley. Davinson Sanchez headed home from Christian Eriksen's cross for his first goal for Tottenham. Leicester were awarded a second-half penalty when James Maddison was fouled. Jamie Vardy climbed off the bench to take the spot kick but saw his effort saved by Hugo Lloris. 3 minutes later, Christian Eriksen doubled the lead for the Spurs. Vardy then got his name on the score sheet as he slid home from close range to set up a tense finale. Son Heung-min scored the breakaway goal in stoppage time to make sure of the points for Mauricio Pochettino. And Liverpool have regained top spot in the Premier League table courtesy a convincing 3-0 win over Bournemouth at Anfield. Jurgen Klopp's title hopefuls had been knocked off the summit by Manchester City in midweek and went into this match off the back of successive draws and a couple of nervy performances. However, the hosts were back to their best as they swept Bournemouth aside with Sadio Mane, Jorginho, Wijnaldum and Mohamed Salah and the score sheet to help them return to winning ways. And Gareth Bale scored his 100th Real Madrid goal as they beat Atletico Madrid 3-1 in the Madrid derby to overtake their rivals into second place. Casemiro put Real ahead with a volley, but Antonio Griezmann equalized after scoring a 1-on-1. Sergio Ramos restored the visitors' lead with a penalty and Bale converted from Luka Modric's pass to ensure the win. Atletico ended with 10 men after Thomas Partey was shown a second yellow. Informed Real Madrid have now won 6 of their past 7 games, having drawn 1-1 with Barcelona in the Copa del Rey semi-final first leg on Wednesday, and this deserved derby win moves them to within 5 points of La Liga leaders, Barca. Now, League One sides Nantes and Nimes paid an emotional tribute to Emiliano Sala before their match on Sunday. Nantes, where Salah spent 4 seasons, wore black shirts with the name Salah stuck to their backs. Nantes fans also held up the number 9 in memory of the Argentine. Players and coaching staff from both sides joined the Nantes fans in applauding and cheering in memory of Salah, who died in a plane crash. Salah had been en route from Nantes in West France on the 21st of January to make his debut for Cardiff when the plane he was travelling in disappeared over the English Channel. The wreckage was found last Sunday following a privately funded underwater search. The body of Salah was recovered from the crashed plane, but attempts to recover the aircraft itself, the wreckage that is of the aircraft, remained unsuccessful. On to skiing now, and Lindsay Vonn won bronze in a final professional race in the downhill at the Alpine World Championships on Sunday. American Vonn becomes the first female skier to win a medal at 6 World Championships. Vonn is the most successful female skier of all time, with a record 20 World Cup titles to her name and 82 victories on the circuit. She announced her retirement from skiing earlier this month, saying her body is broken beyond repair and screaming top. Now, Paris auction house Art Curiel sold a life-size Lego car for €95,300 in a sale on Sunday. The decorative Lego car, jointly built by Renault and Formula One, is comprised of 3,13,000 Lego bricks over a metal structure. Patterned after the Formula One car driven by Nico Hülkenberg, it is equipped with Pirelli tyres and a replica steering wheel. The purchase exceeded the estimated sale price of 30 to 50,000 euros. Proceeds are going to be donated to UNICEF. Now, a Bahraini footballer with refugee status in Australia, Hakim Al-Arabi, left a Thai jail on Monday after authorities dropped a controversial extradition case against him. A convoy of immigration vehicles believed to be carrying Arabi left the Bangkok remand prison shortly after state prosecutors announced Bahrain had dropped its request to extradite him for crimes it accuses him of committing during the Arab Spring protests of 2011. The footballer, who fled Bahrain in 2014 and received refugee status in Australia, was arrested in November at a Bangkok airport while on a honeymoon trip, following an Interpol notice issued at Bahrain's request. It was not immediately clear when Bahrain withdrew its extradition request. And that's it for the moment in this edition of Sports News. But before we go, another look at our headlines. BCCI's Chief Selector MSK Prasad says Rishabh Pant, Vijay, Shankar and Ajinkya Rahane are in contention for a World Cup berth. Shankar's decent outing with a bat in New Zealand kept him in contention for an all-rounder spot. Prajesh Guneswaran rises to career best 97 in ATP rankings, becomes the only Indian that is the third player to break into the top 100 barrier in the past decade after Somdev Burman and Yuki Bhamri. In the EPL, Manchester City hit 6 goals against Chelsea's 0. Spurs keep pace with leaders Liverpool in the Premier League title race. And Lindsay Vonn ends career with a bronze medal at the Alpine World Championships. Olympic champion skier claimed 82 World Cup victories. And before we close the day on the show, we leave you with some stunning images from the opening race of the 2019 Red Bull Air Race Series in Abu Dhabi. Enjoy.